They
Squeeze it.
laughed
Looking
before she
good.
even
Yeah,
opened
direct hit.
her mouth. By the time she reached for the
Excellent work.
rifle, half the camp was already whispering the same word. Rookie. The sun burned high over the Afghan plateau, slicing through the dust like molten glass. Rows of soldiers stood around the makeshift range, their laughter echoing off the tin walls. In the center of them stood a woman, calm, steady, her expression unreadable beneath the brim of her cap. Before I tell you what happened next, the narrator says softly, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I love knowing who's listening. Her name was Lieutenant Aaron Vale. Small-framed, quiet, and newly transferred. Most of the men hadn't even bothered to learn her name. To them, she was just another political experiment. A woman in a place built for men. When she asked for a sniper rifle during the morning briefing, Captain Harlow nearly choked on his coffee. You sure you can handle that, Vale? That M24 is heavier than you look. A ripple of laughter swept through the camp. She didn't flinch. She simply said, it's not about the weight, sir. It's about the target, and for a moment, that silence was sharper than any bullet. She walked to the firing line, dust kicking under her boots. The rifleman beside her smirked, loading his weapon, like he was doing her a favor. But as Aaron knelt and adjusted the bipod, her movements were surgical, precise. The laughter died, replaced by a curious hush. The wind shifted. She closed one eye, then the other. Her breath slowed. The horizon shimmered. And then one crack of thunder. The bottle 300 yards away exploded into glass dust. Then another. And another. 10 in a row each shot. Perfectly placed. No one spoke. The only sound was the clinking of spent casings on steel. Captain Harlow cleared his throat. Vale, who trained you? She looked up at him, her face calm. I didn't train, she said softly. I served under someone who her lips barely moved. Unit S-47. The captain froze. Every man there knew the name. A ghost unit officially disbanded after a classified operation went wrong. Rumors said the survivors were gone, buried under codes in silence. One of the younger soldiers whispered, wait, that's the shadow wing. But no one from that team made it out. Aaron's hands tightened around the rifle. Not everyone stayed gone. The camp fell into an uneasy quiet. In the distance, the desert wind carried the faint hum of a convoy. Enemy scouts had been spotted nearby that morning. And as if summoned by fate, a radio call cracked through the silence. Unit Bravo. Contact North Ridge. Incoming hostiles. Snipers on the hill. Harlow spun to his men, barking orders. But Aaron was already moving, crawling to the outpost wall, sighting down the ridge through her scope. 3 targets, all hidden. Moving fast. Don't shoot. One soldier hissed. They're out of range. Aaron pulled the trigger before he finished. A single echo rolled across the desert. One enemy dropped. She adjusted. Exhaled, fired again. Another fell. The third tried to run. She whispered something none of them could hear, then fired once more. Silence. When the smoke cleared, the radio confirmed it. The ridge was clear. The attack was stopped before it began. The soldiers who had laughed minutes ago now stood behind her in stunned silence. One of them finally muttered, "What's her code name?" The captain's voice was quiet now, almost reverent. "Ghost Eye," he said. They called her Ghost Eye. Aaron set the rifle down, brushed the dust from her knees, and gave a small, tired smile. It's just a name, she said. I'd rather be remembered for what I saved, not what I hit. And as the camp broke into applause, something in their eyes had changed. Respect all, maybe even guilt. Because sometimes the quietest warrior carries the loudest truth. Because courage doesn't ask for permission. It simply steps forward when others stand still. And under that blazing daylight, as the wind carried the echo of her shots across the sand, it felt like justice had taken aim and found its mark. Because real strength doesn't shout, it whispers. And the world learns to listen. And on that bright desert morning, every man who once laughed would remember her silence forever. If this story moved you, tell me in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe for more stories of courage, justice, and the unseen heroes among